I'm a complete idiot. Here's why. Don't buy a gimbal. Do not purchase a gimbal. Don't buy a gimbal. Happy New Year's Day. It's time to declutter. This video is all about gear I am getting rid of in 2024. You know, even in the process of setting up to do this video, it reminded me of something what I learned over the entire process of making the film Love Jr. I don't like working with a lot of gear. I hate it. I hate setting up lights and setting up rigs and microphones, and I just hate working with a lot of gear. I hate it. So today we're getting into all the gear that I wish I never bought, that only added more complexity and more challenges to making the film, and what I'm getting rid of, why I'm getting rid of it, and where you can find it online for a low, low price. The very first thing I'm getting rid of is the Nikon Z30, which is currently on a gimbal. It's currently mounted to a gimbal. Actually, I should probably unmounted just to show it to you. I should probably. So I unmounted the Z30 from the gimbal to make this little point about why I want to get rid of it. This is a vlog camera with a flip out screen. Actually, it's the best vlog camera in its class. It's the best vlog camera in its price class by a mile. It's much better than the Sony or the Canon in the same price class. So why did I buy this? I was going through a midlife crisis when I bought this camera. And I decided I was kind of bored with coding, wasn't really sure if I wanted to do filmmaking. I got this bright idea that I was gonna be a travel vlogger. And here's the funny story. Literally, within 5 seconds of me getting the idea to be a travel vlogger, I decided to do it. What can I do to get paid for something fun? Traveling is fun. I should be a travel vlogger. And 5 seconds later, I was like all into it. I was sitting at that desk right there when that idea popped in my head, and I just went all for it. I went and bought a bunch of gear for it. And then I found out that it's not as fun as you think. So, you know, I bought this camera because it was obviously the best in class. But what I found out was that this camera is probably not actually the best for vlogging, at least the way that I do vlogging. I absolutely hated the experience of vlogging with this camera. So I bought this camera in October 2022, and I never actually vlogged with it. I never actually took the time to vlog with this camera for like 4 months until I went and forced myself to do it. I was like, you know what? I bought the camera. I spent the money. It's been 4 months. I have not vlogged with it once. What the hell is going on? So I went and I forced myself to go do some travel vlogging. I went to Runyon Canyon, and let me tell you, I absolutely hated every moment of the experience. It was just weird. It was uncomfortable. I was out like this, and the camera was heavy, and it's not that heavy of a camera, but it's not super fun to hold like this a lot. It's really not. It's really, in my opinion, too big. And also, like, having a lot of, like, having this thing, like, it kind of like draws a little bit of attention. People think, oh, he's a content creator, which obviously I am. But, you know, people, it just, like, the stares and the looks that you get from it, I don't like it. And I really think that having a smaller vlog camera would definitely attract less attention. And, you know, at first I was vlogging with this camera right here. I tried to vlog with this camera when I decided to be a travel vlogger, but this thing is big, man. This thing is, see this thing? This thing is heavy. It's big, and it's just not something you would ever want to vlog with. It's very heavy. This weighs about 4 pounds altogether. So imagine like a 4-pound weight, and you're like this with it all day. It's really not something you want to do. So that's what led me to make this purchase. That's what actually led me to actually buy this. I wanted a smaller vlog camera. I wanted a camera that was easier to vlog with, and I thought this would be it, but it wasn't. You know, when I was actually vlogging Runyon Canyon, what I realized was that I don't want to put a lot of concentration into the process of recording stuff. I want to be in the moment. I want to like experience the moment as it's happening and not be so focused on recording it. And this being an APS-C size camera, I had it on full manual mode because I was thinking I wanted to be a professional vlogger. I wanted to be a vlogger that does it on a professional level, whatever that means. So I didn't want to get like a simple camera. I wanted a big old APS-C size camera to do that with. And when I actually got around to forcing myself to travel vlog, I realized that I don't enjoy the experience of like being out somewhere, but like having to focus on this camera so much, having to focus on all the settings and all the shutter speed and then the ISO and the exposure. And like the best vlog videos that get the most views or the most entertaining to watch, it doesn't look like it was filmed on a pro level camera. It looks like it was filmed on a basic point and shoot camera. Like it does not look like the person was worried about, you know, their ISO settings or their shutter speed or their aperture or their white balance. I don't think they were worried about that. Oh, also I should put in there that the reason you want a point and shoot camera or a really, really small camera for vlogging is not just that it's smaller than this and it's easier to manage than this, but also because there's no rolling shutter. This camera in video mode has really, not terrible, but pretty obnoxious rolling shutter. It's not something I want to look at. It doesn't look that good. And don't get me wrong, all the other cameras in this price point have even worse optics than this one. In my opinion, what you should have for vlogging is a basic 1-inch sensor point and shoot camera like this one or this one. But I don't have one yet. So I think you would enjoy vlogging more with either a basic 1-inch sensor point and shoot camera like a Canon G7X like this one, or like one of those walk around GoPros or DJI Actions or one of those. It's smaller, it's lighter, it's much less, it requires much less concentration and work to manage it, and you're just gonna enjoy it a whole lot more. You know, I wouldn't say I actually wasted money on this camera. I actually did use this camera a lot in other things besides vlogging. I took it on a couple of trips. I took it to Nebraska, I took it to New York City, I took it to Mexico, and got some really, really great shots. I think I might intercut some of those here. And I also used it as a prop in the feature film that I'm making, that I'm self-financing, Love Jr., which will be out pretty soon, by the way. I used it as like a prop where the character's vlogging, but he was actually recording in real life. So like we have two camera views. So I do think I did get my money's worth out of this camera. That's why I don't regret buying it, because I did get some good use out of it, but I am gonna sell it because I don't really think that I'm gonna vlog with it. I don't think I'm gonna vlog with it. It's not the best for family photography, although I got some great shots out of it. I got some amazing shots out of it. I wouldn't really recommend it because it does not have a viewfinder and it doesn't have a flash built in. All right, so this is the flash that goes on this camera. And I didn't have it on here because you wouldn't have the flash on there when it's mounted on a gimbal. But this is the flash, and it's really kind of big and cumbersome. And it doesn't have a viewfinder. There's no eyepiece on here. So for that reason, I was thinking that this probably is not the best like walk around, like street photography, film photography camera, even though I got some amazing shots with it. But I think as far as like having a walk around, like, you know, street photography, you know, travel camera, not vlogging camera, I mean like a walk around camera for basic photography, I think I want a smaller camera than this. And I want something with a built-in flash, because this thing is a little bit, like when you're out, this thing is a little bit cumbersome. And without this, there's no flash in the camera at all. And not having a viewfinder is not what I'm looking for. This is really a video-focused camera. This camera was designed for vlogging, which I'm not going to use this for anymore, ever again. So I think it's time to let this guy go, even though I got some great use out of it. Right. This right here, these pictures right here. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Okay. Okay, so let me just hold like this so you guys can see. Most of these were taken on this Nikon right here, which I'm selling. Most of these pictures, I'm trying to hold it so that the light doesn't shine on it, but most of these pictures were taken on this Nikon, except for this one. This picture right here, let me hold like this so you can see. This picture right here was taken on this Sony. You know what? A lot of this gear I bought because I wanted to feel like a professional. I wanted to feel like I was like one of the big, high rollers or whatever. I made a really, really amateur mistake, and a lot of rookies make this mistake. I bought gear because I wanted to feel like a professional. That's why I bought a $1,000 vlog camera with a bunch of manual settings and a bunch of that's why I bought this. That's why I bought this. That's why I bought a lot of other things as well. I was thinking I'll just buy it. If I change my mind, if I don't want to use it, I'll just sell it for a little bit less than I bought it for. Things did not work out that way, okay? The economy has shifted over the past, 15 months since I bought most of this stuff. And let me tell you, there's not a lot of buyers on OfferUp and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, okay? I think most people who buy this kind of stuff are hobbyists and they're not getting paid for it. No one who gets paid for photography is buying this. No one who gets paid for cinematography or video work is buying this. The economy has gone down and there's not a lot of people buying used gear because everyone who buys this stuff are hobbyists and they have a lot less money at their disposal to buy this kind of stuff for fun. That's what happened. Okay, the next thing that I'm selling that I regret buying is the gimbal. Look at me. Don't buy a gimbal. Do not purchase a gimbal. Don't buy a gimbal. I bought this because I thought I could get a lot of smooth, flowing shots that look really good and are really, really high quality professional. But what I did not realize is that this thing is not easy. These things in general, not just this one, they're not easy to use. They are very heavy. There's more gear that has to be managed. And it just doesn't really add that much to the actual film. If your camera has vibration reduction or in-body stabilization like this one does, you don't need a gimbal. Okay, so I'm a complete idiot because a lot of YouTubers told me that these things are pretty much worthless and totally useless and are at least 10 times more work than they're worth, and they don't add much of anything to the film. And everyone who buys these are a bunch of amateurs who like to buy a lot of gear to feel like professionals. And lots of YouTubers told me that. I watched a lot of YouTube review videos that said exactly that. And I went and bought this thing anyways. And what happened? It required a lot of time and a lot of know-how and a lot of learning and a lot of effort and concentration to use it. And I didn't wind up using it a whole lot. And even when I did, it didn't wind up adding very much of anything to the film. That's what happened. Oh, and by the way, I bought this for $800 brand new. I sold some of the accessories for $150, and then this I'm gonna sell for $150 as well. So I bought it for $800, used it very little. I mean $800 including the warranty. I used it very little, hardly at all, and now I'm selling it total for $300. Don't buy one of these. You don't need one. The third thing I'm selling is the 24mm prime G Master lens from Sony. Why am I selling it? Because, as a photographer, I don't really like this focal length. I went to Santa Monica Pier and I took some good shots that I thought were that actually turned out really good, but I don't really like this focal length. It just feels warped. It feels like you're in this pictures at this focal length are basically for scenery only, and I just don't really think I want to do a lot of photography at this length. And by the way, I already have this focal length on this lens. This is a 24mm prime. This is a 24 to 70mm. And I already have this focal length on that lens. Now, the only benefit to this is that it's a teensy bit sharper because it is prime. It is a prime lens. But then again, this lens is actually very, very sharp because it is a G Master. But This lens opens to 1.4 and this one only opens to 2.8. But I don't really feel like this is worth it because I'm not really a big fan of this focal length, and I don't like the warped feeling of it. Why did I buy this lens? I bought it because I just felt like I bought this lens because it opens to 1.4. And when you're filming at night, when you're filming like in low light conditions, like my dark apartment, when you're filming here, you need a lens that opens up really wide to get away from the film grain. And in this video right now, you can see some film grain because it's dark in here. I might edit out some of the film grain. Because my apartment is so small, I was mostly filming at 24 millimeters anyways. So I decided, let me go ahead and buy the prime lens so that I can get the widest angle and get more in the shot because my apartment is so small. And I wanted to open to 1.4, but what I realized is that I don't really like filming or shooting stills at 1.4. I don't like it. I don't like the aesthetic of it, the way it just has this like warped, it has this like stretched out energy to it, and I just do not like this focal length at all. But yeah, I bought this for like $850. I'm gonna sell it for probably about the same, so no loss. Okay. What else is getting sold? The tripod wheels. This is I'm not gonna unfurl it because it's already like together, but this is a set of wheels that goes on your tripod, and I don't want to use this. I think I'd rather just hold the camera handheld and just push it in and out with my hands, because I really, again, it comes back to the same thing as before. I just want to work with less gear. I don't like setting up I don't like tripods. I don't like working with mic stands and light stands and gimbals and this and that. I'd rather just turn on the in-body stabilization and just not use a gimbal. I'd rather just hold the camera handheld as opposed to putting it on a tripod. Because when you're filming, especially when you're filming outside the house, carrying around a whole lot of gear is just no fun. It's not something you want to do. And I realized that the day goes by a whole lot smoother when you're not carrying around a whole lot of gear. Okay, what else? The last thing I'm selling is, take it off of the stand. All right. The last thing I'm selling, or maybe the third thing I'm selling, is my XLR microphones. This is a Rode NTG5. This is a very, very well-respected microphone that I bought it for that reason. And this is the Zoom H6. But again, I don't want to use this. It's just too much gear. It's too much drama. And it's not really that much higher quality than using a USB microphone. I also have, somewhere in there somewhere, I also have a smaller version of the same Rode mic. I have a Video Mic NTG somewhere in the house, and I'd rather use that. I would much rather plug that directly into the camera and just have a really long cable as opposed to having this thing, having to hire a production system to use this thing, or put it on or put this on a mic stand. And this thing has been dropped a million times. And you know what? See, the thing is, why I'm on the fence about selling this, because I don't think this has a lot of monetary value. This has been dropped a bunch of times. It's, rolled around in the trunk of the car for 4 months. I've dropped it a few times. It's got sand in it from the beach. It's been through quite a bit. So I'm not sure it has a whole lot of monetary value, but I just need to get rid of like hard to use, complex gear. And I think that was I think that was probably the overall lesson from 2023 and Making Love Junior, is I have got to get rid of complicated, hard to use gear. And this is one of those things. I think the lesson is you're interested in buying all this gear because it makes you feel good to shop and feel like a professional, and also like you like cool gadgets too. But when you actually start using this stuff, it just weighs you down. It slows down the day. The film day, either a still photography day or a cinematic shoot day, it moves a lot faster with less gear. And that's the lesson of this video. Only buy what you need, because it's going to be hard to sell this stuff when you're done with it. Now I have to go and post on Craigslist and post on OfferUp and wait for responses and deal with flaky people and looky-loos and amateurs like me who just want to talk about it, who don't want to buy anything. Now I gotta do that to get whatever money I can out of this stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks for watching this video. Watch this video and subscribe. And